What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 6T3. My name is Ben, and yes, I am wearing the same clothes as I was last video because I am batch recording for this weekend. I am a busy MFer all this week. So my son has graduated high school, or is going to graduate. He's all done with school, and he is graduating this Friday. So yay! Oh, my last kid is done with school. He's going to college in the fall. Anyway, I got stuff going on tomorrow, and then I got to go get Walt's truck because we have a race this Saturday, and then Thursday we have another thing, and then Friday is graduation, and then Saturday it's off to the races. So I am full up and going to have zero time this week to do any videos. So here I am. We're in the same thing. It's movie magic that you just record more videos when you get a chance. Anyway, I came up with this idea. It was one of, not a viewer request, but one of the things that I came up with. What can your rear gears tell you about your chain alignment? And I thought I would get out some of my gears and some older gears that I, absolutely will not run. But I thought maybe we could just kind of go over, when you take a gear off and you're seeing the wear on it, what is it telling you about what happened to your gear? Okay, first things first, we are going to look at the control gear. The control, like a science experiment, you have your control, the one you're basing everything off. I'm not that smart. I am not a scientist, nor should anybody ever consider me. This is a WMS gear. We've all seen these. We've all purchased these. Does anybody else miss the Hortzman gears? I still wish they had made them. WMS seems to do, a pretty darn good job at making gears. Some of the better ones out there. There's some real, iffy type of gears that you can be bought for pretty cheap. But man, the Hortzman ones, I don't know if it was like $775 aluminum, but they took a whooping and just kept on clicking. But this, I don't know what grade of aluminum this is, this is, but they don't seem to take such a good, they don't wear as good as the Hortzman. All right, that's where I'm going with this. I'm not going anything against WMS. They do make a quality product, but I just think the Hortzman were a bit better. That's where I was going with this. So this is going to be our control. I'm going to get some B-roll footage here real quick, or maybe I won't do B-roll footage. Maybe it's just easier for me to take you up close and explain to you what's going on. Yeah, let's do that. That's a way better idea, because then I got to remember what I'm talking about, and then I got it. I got it, guys, all right? Super professional. All right, give me a second. Okay, guys, you have to forgive me here. I got some springs and what have you going on. I'm in the midst of changing engines on my UAS cart. Okay, so see this dot right here? This should be center. I was trying to get that angle correctly. Anyway, this is our control gear. This is what I was talking about, the WMS. This happens to be a 58 tooth, brand spanking new. As you take a look, these are, they got, decently sharp points, but purposefully, dull. They're made to take some wear. Metal on metal, regardless of alignment and all that, it is going to take some wear. They eventually, it's just a throwaway part. Eventually, you're gonna have to replace them. But what your chain alignment can tell you about things is just this. We'll say the first one we'll talk about here is we're going to talk about a loose chain. When you don't have enough tension on your rear gear and you're allowing that bend, that slop in your chain to happen, they will start to shark tooth, or start the shark fin, I should say. If you can see real close here that they're starting, that was coming, of course I run these on an open, so maybe it's a little bit exaggerated, but it will do the same. When you're nabbing the gas, it's going to, straighten that top chain, and it's going to yank and yank and yank, and it's going to start to bend these over. And now, eventually, if you keep on running that, what's going to happen is these are going to gnaw themselves off, and you're going to have less drive. So just in general, if your alignment is off, this is a pretty evenly worn gear. Maybe, a little bit on the top. Maybe it's, these points are a bit sharp. This is not something I really would go to unless I had to in a pinch. I believe I have a backup 64. So, but if you notice that the wear on both sides, they are getting a little more pointy, the wear on both sides is even. So my chain was running dead even on this one. And I think that's what everybody should expect, to see. It's going to start off like this. After you run the gear for a while, eventually both sides are going to wear. Try and make sure that you're lubricating your chain enough to where, you're getting nice even wear, everything, keep it going like this. This is what your gear should look like eventually. Maybe, it doesn't have as tall a points as it should. Now, to the extreme, I have to do a video on this. It's been requested, and I've been gonna do it. I just haven't. We used to run with the left rear rail dropped on my open. It was something that the guy, we bought it off of. He says, hey, try this. It really helps. I've yet to determine whether I like having a straight across rail or that drop rail. But regardless, that's for another video. To the extreme, when you take something out of square, whether your chain is misaligned, so this would be a simple fact of, this is see how bad this is? I know why this happened, and it wasn't because of chain misalignment. Chain misalignment would mean, all right, so your engine's here, and this, if this wear came from that, this gear was too far this way. So it's gnawing as it's coming off. It's gnawing on that aluminum, but that's not why this happened. This happened because of the chassis rail. I had the axle up a notch, so the entire axle was out of square of my jack shaft, and that caused this wear. So regardless of whether or not you're this is for you guys with clones and stuff, maybe it's something you might want to play with. I don't know how much harm it does. I can tell you this is what it does on an open. When you drop that left rear rail and you take your axle out of square from your engine, you can get some serious, I don't even know why I still have this. Maybe I kept this for this purpose of showing this video of what can happen to a gear if you go to the extreme. As you can see, this side, perfectly fine, running fine. On this side, it definitely was. So that rail, it would have been tipped. Either, I don't know which way I had it running, but it was out of square. So instead of running straight up and down the way it should be, and that's how you get the nice wear on there, the whole axle was tipped in relation to my clutch. So there you go, guys. Just real easy to tell, how when you peel off a gear, if it's worn too much on one side rather than the other. Like I said, look for the shark fin. If you have, if you have too little tension on your chain, it should be, I usually run half an inch of deflection, so your chain should bounce only up and down within half an inch. That's on my open. I'm assuming it's the same on a clone or a predator or something like that. You want them tight, not banjo tight, but you want a little movement in them, but not floppy. When you get that dip in them, that's where every time you hit the gas, that goes twing, twing, and it causes distress on the rear axle gear. Okay, there you go, guys. I hope that made a little more sense. I thought about just doing the B-roll and holding and flipping and flopping and putting it in while I was talking, but it was just much easier for me to actually hold the gear and explain what I was talking about. But very, simple concept to grasp. If your rear axle is out of alignment, if something is misaligned, if your engine's out of line on your somehow, some way on your frame rails, if your rear axle, maybe bearings, starting to go, things are starting to shift. Maybe you have an adjustable rear end and it's either down or back, or, maybe this is an adjustment you've put into the chassis and you're like, why is my, rear gear getting eaten up so quick? Usually the drivers don't eat up as quick. They're usually made out of steel. At least mine are all steel, and they, I don't believe they run. Maybe somebody's put aluminum drivers up on the clutches, but all I run is steel. So I rarely see any, serious issues with those. I do have a couple that have been around for years and years and years, 15 years on an open, will whoop the crap out of stuff regardless of steel or aluminum, but I wouldn't overly concern yourself with what's happening to your clutch unless, of course, that same thing, it's kind of the same thing with the rear gear. If it's happening in clutch, man, you got some alignment issues going on. You might want to take care of that. I think I have a video on that, on chain alignment. Maybe check that one out. Anyway, I just thought this would be a cool concept to show you guys. Like I said, we always have new karters coming in, and did I remember to do the thing? If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Sure, hit a like while you're at it. I think I forgot to do it early. I can't remember. I just shot 2 videos, all right? Give me a break here, okay? So anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by, and I hope this information was, wow, I'm batting 1,000 here. I hope this information was useful to you, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.